Namaste, folks. We're in a chair. Start with your even sitting. So that means even on both sits bones, even on both legs as well, both shoulders. Can you get both ears somewhere in a vertical alignment with your shoulders? Make sure the weight of your arms is supported either by your armrests or by your own body. And watch yourself breathe while you scan for sensations. Let yourself settle a little more thoroughly into that sense of evenness from right to left. And a certain evenness from front to back as well. Then take one leg out in front of you. This will be easier if you can sit toward the front of your chair. If that's not a possibility, you can always get that front leg further extended by putting it up on a thing. Take the other leg back underneath your chair. And then go for hands on your waist. Press down on your hips to lift your ribs straight up. So we're not just lifting the front of the ribs, we're lifting the whole rib cage. And then gently build a very small back bend in the upper back. So around the line that goes just below your shoulder blades, which means the bottom of your breastbone will tip upwards, the top of the breastbone, your collarbones, will tip a little bit backwards. Do not let the head fall back. Feel that long opening all the way up the front of the torso with a lift up the front and up the back. And to come out, big inhalation, come over the top, get even taller. Let it go and change legs. So one leg extended in front, other leg under the chair. You can decide if you're on the bottom of your toes or on the top of your foot, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Again, find hands on your waist. So we're going down through the hips, down through the legs, up through the rib cage, spine, wide through the shoulder blades. And then build your back bend in the upper back. So you'll lift even further from below the waist, all the way up to the base of the breastbone. You're doing the same thing in the back, and the lift is going all the way up to below the shoulder blades, that line below the shoulder blades. And then from that base of the breastbone, line below the shoulder blades. You're letting the upper back bend, the upper spine, go backwards. Keep breathing. See if you can find even more length up the front without losing the length in the back. And again to come out, up and over the top. And then bring yourself back to your even sitting, your samastiti. Now, if you can get one leg next to the chair, that's your best option here. If that's not a possibility, take one leg under the chair, keep the other leg in front, and widen. Right? So if you have arms on the chair, you may be able to still drop your leg sideways. Now, if you have a chair with no armrest and you're able to get one foot behind you, that's where we'd love to get to. And if you need to lean forward to make that happen, that's okay. You want to have a sense of your legs being fairly wide. If you're sitting sideways on the chair, you're limited by how deep the chair is. If you're sitting facing forward on the chair, you can sit more toward one side and open the other leg out. You can see that's very wide. We're okay with that width at the moment. And again, you can lean forward if you need to. Whatever shape you have gotten into, enjoy it for one more breath. And then come on out. And go around the other way. So I'm going to continue to use this straddling the chair sideways. You don't need to straighten the back leg, right? Also, if it's really uncomfortable on your toes, because I normally don't do that, and you want to tuck the foot under, that's okay. We just want to get this used to this idea of having one leg forward, one leg going back. So again, if the straight back leg doesn't work for you, feel free to bend that knee. So here's your one more breath. And then find your way back out and back into your even sitting. If you have a desk in front of you or a second chair that you can use, you're going to fold forward. I'm going to sit sideways so you can see this. Folding forward, we'd love to be able to put forehead on something. So this may mean that your legs need to widen if it's not a high enough surface. Right? I'm going to add the bolster to my chair. We want the weight of the torso supported by whatever you're resting your head on. If you don't have something, elbows on your knees, you can use your hands to support your head. Or if you can fold all the way down, keep the whole forearm. We just want to get that sense of being able to fold deeply at the hips. Arms can hang, arms can rest on your lap, arms can rest on the surface that you're resting your head on. And one more breath, feeling this lovely supported forward fold. And then again, come on back up to sitting. You can use your hands to push you back up. Find that even sitting. Now, if you can get down to the floor, you can use your chair to support the weight of the torso on your elbows so that you can go into a version of plank that allows you to use your core and to use pressing from the shoulder blades into the arms, use the upper body. If that's not a possibility for you, again, if you have another surface in front of you, you can use the upper body. So you're pushing gently on your arms to hold your torso up. And then breathe with that gentle contraction that engages your core. If you don't have a second surface, use your elbows on your knees. If you collapse and then push, you'll be able to feel the engagement in the upper body, and then again, wrap that corset. If you've been holding a plank for a while, come on out of it. If you're just getting into it, take a breath or two. And then we're all coming back to your even sitting. Quick scan for sensations and breath. Then if you have something to put your feet up on, that's your best option. If you don't worry about it. So we're going for crossed ankles, Sukhasana. I'm going to use a second chair. I'm going to use a footstool. And again, feet on the floor is just fine. Notice which ankle you've crossed in front of the other, right? Also notice if you've crossed your shins, your entire shins, open it a little bit wider. You can decide how close you want your feet. Remember, we're not looking to lean back in the chair unless it's a requirement. We'd like to be able to have our spine supporting our weight. Then interlace your hands. Whichever ankle is in front, put the other thumb on top. Extend out through the arms, shoulder blades through the elbows, through the wrists, into the finger joints, and then big inhalation, take the arms up. You can continue to stay here, bringing the elbows closer together and further up toward the ceiling. Or if that's too much, exhale and lower the arms. Inhale, raise the arms, give them that little bit of extra push. And then exhale, lower them again. If you've been holding the arms up there, next time you breathe out, you want to bring them back down. Change the crossing of your ankles. Again, stack your torso up so that your spine is doing the support work. Relace your fingers, opposite thumb to the ankle that's on top, shoulder blades, elbows, wrists, into the finger joints. And then up you go on an inhalation. Again, you can decide whether you're going to stay or whether it's more appropriate to go up or down. Please notice what your ribs are doing. They will probably try to help. Keep them dropped in the front. Let the lift come from the elbows. And on your next exhalation, let it go. And come on back to, if it was a challenge to get your feet up, leave them there because we're going to be there again. Otherwise, come back to your even sitting. This time, we're using outside edges of the feet, so soles of the feet together. Again, up on a footstool, up on something of equal height. Here, your desk doesn't serve you well. And while we're here, yes, you can hold on to your ankles, so your shin bones, right, above the foot, to help you stay upright. And just gently let your thighs go up and down. Think of moving your thighs from the very hip joint. Now, if your feet are on the floor, it'll feel more like an opening and closing of the knees. If you can't get all the way to the outside of the feet, that's okay. Slowly work opening and closing the thighs until your lower legs are willing to turn over that far. So this is really gentle. We're not forcing, we're just lifting up out of the stretch and then gently releasing into it again. And we're going to continue moving while we do this, right? This is not a sit still. And then again, if it was challenging to get your feet up there, keep them there because we're there for one more. Otherwise, come into your Samastiti and reevaluate. And we're going to go into a twist. So those of you who aren't able to get your feet up on the thing, sit as far forward in the chair as you can, and you're just going to let your knees drop to one side while your opposite shoulder presses to the chair. Now, if you can do this with your feet up, you can almost lie down and get into that twist. So you'll shift more toward one side of your chair, maybe even get all the way to the side of the hips. If you're next to something that you can lie down on, yes, of course you can do that. But we're aiming for those of you who are in chairs. So just enjoy that twist. See if you can stack your legs up. Again, if it's not possible, don't worry about it. If it is, it just adds an additional bit of opening. I'm using this opposite hand back here to help support all the way to the torso, keep me balanced. And we're going to come out. So shift. And again, if you're on the chair, you can shift all the way to one side. See if you can find all the way to the side of the hips. And here you can see how I'm using this hand just to help keep me supported instead of sliding endlessly off. Make sure you feel secure here. We would like a gentle twist, not the kind where you're worried about falling off the cliff. And then bring yourself out of the twist, and you can decide whether you want to stay and go into a deep relaxation for a moment, or just check in briefly by scanning and breathing, and then going about your business again. Good for you for checking in.